Hey guys, it's Dani. Today we're going to talk about Encyclia orchids. We're going to see a few of them in bloom. We're going to focus on the Serenade O'Neal since she is a novelty in my collection. And we're also going to make a sort of update on all of my Encyclias, the ones of this kind actually. Encyclias are one of my favorite orchids actually, even when they're not in bloom for reasons that you will see in a moment. But first, let's start with the Serenade O'Neal since she is in full bloom. Now, if you don't know how I acquired this orchid, she was picked by one of my viewers, one of you guys. I'll link it down below to the video. Basically, I made an orchid haul at a nursery and I asked you to suggest orchids for me to purchase. I randomly chose a comment and voila, we have the Serenade O'Neal and I'm very happy to have it. So let's get you in closer and take a look at the orchid. The Epicyclia Serenade O'Neal is a cross between the Epicyclia mabelcanda, which I have and we're gonna see it in a few minutes, and the Encyclia cordigera, which is a species, and I also have it, we're gonna see her in a few minutes, she is also in bloom. And as far as I can tell, it took traits from both of these parents. Flower-wise, it is actually a combination of the two as far as I can see, but the way the orchid looks like, it really doesn't resemble the Encyclia cordigera at all. You're gonna see the mabelcanda in a little bit. This is one of those orchids that just takes off. I potted it in semi-hydro the moment that I received it, and she is actively growing roots at the moment, which have no issue adapting to semi-hydro, as you can see. Typically, this orchid and Encyclias in general are treated like Cattleyas, and indeed you can actually grow them as such. But my impression is that, just like many Cattleyas, if you offer a lot of moisture and air at the same time, you'll have very nice looking pseudobulbs. You're gonna see it with my other Encyclias. So for this reason, I chose my semi-hydroponic setup for this orchid, and as you can see, she's taking off immediately. And I'm sure that she will do great because semi-hydro is a high moisture environment. Encyclias also do like quite a lot of bright light, just like epidendrums. So I do have my orchid in my southern window. She does receive quite a lot of light, and you can see the pigmentation on the leaf. It's slightly red. That is a sign of strong light. It is very normal with the mabelcanda and also with the Serenade O'Neal. This is a warm grower, but it can handle lower temperatures as well. However, in my subtropical climate, it is a perfect candidate. If you're wondering what orchids to keep in your warm climates, go for the Encyclias. They're absolutely beautiful, they're worth it, they will not give you headaches, as long as you maintain them hydrated. Most warm growers don't usually have a typical preference for high humidity. Those are the cloud forests, the cooler growers. All of my Cattleyas and Encyclias do not fuss about humidity. High humidity is always nice for all orchids, as it prevents water loss, but you can definitely do without high humidity in the case of Encyclias and even epidendrums. The appeal of the Encyclias is not only their looks. The fragrance is almost always present with these orchids. Now, this, I believe, is a first-time bloom for this orchid, and sometimes first-time blooming orchids do not put out the full potential, fragrance included, and I had this happen. So for the moment, I cannot say this orchid smells incredible. I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but for its first bloom, it smells like tea, to be honest. A little sweet, maybe chamomile and honey. That's pretty specific, but that's what I sense when I smell this orchid. It's very nice, lovely, not powerful at all, pretty delicate. If this is how it's supposed to smell like, I'm good with it. I was just under the impression that the fragrance would be different since one of her parents smells like chocolate. And since we're talking about the parents, let's bring them in. And here we have it, the happy family. There are so many details that I'm not sure you can tell which orchid is which. So let's get you in a little closer. This was just an ensemble view. Here we have the Encyclia cordigera in full bloom next to our Serenade O'Neal. Now, the cordigera, being one of the parents, lended some traits to the Serenade O'Neal as well. And the one that I can definitely say it is from the cordigera is this patterning on the lip. Do you see the little striations? Well, not all Serenade O'Neals look like this. Some of them have a complete purple or pink lip, and this is because their parent is not this variety of the cordigera. This, I'm afraid, doesn't have a name, but there is one with a completely purple lip, so you can definitely tell that there is a resemblance between these two flowers. However, the cordigera is a much bigger flower than the Serenade O'Neal, and this is because the shape and the size belongs to the other parent. Now, the cordigera is very fragrant. Some people suggest it smells like chocolate. I would say it's more of a dark chocolate cocoa, but indeed it does have a quality that inspires chocolate. It's also a little bit flowery at the same time. It's a really nice fragrance and it is pretty powerful. However, though, it doesn't seem to translate to my Serena O'Neal. Look-wise, the cordigera does not look like the Serena O'Neal quite at all. I think we need to change the angle. There we are. So those were the older parts of the orchid, which struggled at some point, but the new pseudobulbs, which are in bloom now, are very plump, very round, and they do have this onion shape to them. This is very typical to these types of Encyclias, as you will see some other varieties, and I find them just beautiful, these pseudobulbs. Imagine if they all were very plump and very luscious. The word I'm looking for is glossy. I absolutely adore how these orchids look like. The Serena O'Neal, sadly, does not have this shape. She does have a little roundness to it, but to me it looks a lot more like the Maple Canda, which you can see right here. The Maple Canda has longer canes, pretty much like a dendrobium, so we can definitely see we have the influence of the cordigera in the Serena O'Neal, but not completely. Leaf-wise, color-wise, and a few other traits belong to the Maple Canda, but it's really nice to see how both parents contributed to this orchid. Now, sadly, I don't have the Maple Canda in bloom to make a comparison with the flowers as well, but I think I do have a little spike forming here at the top, so fingers crossed it will not stop developing. So, apart from the looks, I feel that the Serena O'Neal also inherited a bad trait of the Maple Canda. Now, under certain circumstances, such as drought in my case, but over-fertilization or salt buildup in other cases, the Maple Canda is actually prone to having leaf tip dieback, and I have one right there. I did have quite a few leaf tips. I cut them. Ever since then, the orchid kind of piped down on the situation, but it would appear that the Serena O'Neal also has some leaf tips cut right there. And this is not done by me. This orchid arrived to me like that, but both of the leaves present cuts. Now, this might mean that the leaves died back. This orchid arrived in sphagnum moss, and about what care it received, I'm not entirely sure, but I can see this resemblance with the leaf tips. It's okay, some orchids are actually prone to that. It's more like a sensitivity to external factors. You can have a Cattleya in the very same place, very same type of medium, with the very same watering routine. One of them will have leaf tip dieback, the other one will not. So keep this in mind. I did see quite a lot of pictures with the dieback. It can look very, very scary, but I am not entirely sure if you should go and spray all sorts of fungicides on your orchid. So maybe you can first work at the external factors before you go ahead and use toxic substances. So since we're talking about one of her parents, the cordigera, well, I do have two more cordigeras here that I would like to talk to you about. This is my very first ever Encyclia cordigera. I purchased her about 4 years ago already. I just had some serious bad luck with this orchid. So I'll show you footage on the screen right now from the past. This orchid was potted in a very bad medium at some point by myself. Of course, I didn't know the medium was bad, and I believe it contacted a very serious fungal infection. I resorted to changing the medium, and in time, in a few years, this orchid actually overcame the disease, which was absolutely wonderful. But as you can see, we don't have many leaves from the past because they were absolutely damaged. So we do have older pseudobulbs. Some of them were sit back. You can see this one has a few more spots, fungal spots, but they don't spread, they don't do any harm. And in the present, we do have wonderful looking leaves, a wonderful looking pseudobulb. I just love the shape of this pseudobulb. It's so glossy, it looks like an onion. I love it. And as you can see, we don't have any leaf tip dieback. The leaves look okay. We have a new growth. Pretty much this orchid is on her way to recovery, and it's not actually giving me any headache. It does like its water though. She doesn't really like to dry out all that much in between waterings. When I purchased this orchid, her label said Cyclis atropurpureum, so I'm not entirely sure what variety we're gonna have. It's gonna be a surprise. The one next to it, however, I purchased it last year, and it came with a little bit of damage dieback on the leaves that extended a little bit more in my care, and for the past almost a year or so, it just stopped and it looks like this. I never cut it because I was lazy. It's time to cut it, but it's a good example to show you actually in a video. Sometimes I just don't cut stuff just to show you in the video. This one had leaf tip problems. It receives the very same care as the other one, same fertilizer, same location, and so on and so forth. But there we go, it's just acting differently. Now we will see if the new growth will be okay, since these leaves already had a bit of damage when I received it. But there you go, you can have differences in between individuals as well. The more hydrated you keep it, the less problems you'll actually have. This one is supposed to be the Rosea variety, which has that beautiful full purple lip. And the last one in this category is the Encyclia alata, which I absolutely adore. She has the very same traits as the cordigera. She has the glossy onion-shaped pseudobulb that I'm a sucker for, and she likes her moisture. These orchids really don't do all that well mounted if you cannot keep up with their watering. If you have a humid environment, or you can water your orchids once a day or even multiple times a day, everything should be okay. But for the typical home grower such as myself, I think it's just a hassle to work with these orchids mounted. And as for the medium, it's really up to you. Orchid Web actually uses terrestrial orchid mix. They actually have sphagnum peat moss and water retentive materials in their mix, and their Encyclias look wonderful. So there you go, you do have quite a lot of options with these orchids. They can actually tolerate a finer mix or a finer medium, but do try to make sure that the medium is well draining, it's not suffocating, it's still ventilated. You just don't need Vanda type of air circulation. Now the alata is one of those orchids which has a beautiful spray of yellowish flowers, and being that this is a pretty new orchid as well, it created this pseudobulb in my care. It was a seedling when I purchased it, and also it's working on a new growth here. It didn't really have time to bloom just yet. I'm really hoping this growth will bloom. But as you can see, she's trying to go towards the edge of the pot. That's okay, I can always up-pot her, but I'm really hoping this year we will get some flowers from this orchid as well. And with this one, you can see I don't have any leaf tip dieback, anything of the sorts. So I think it really depends on the individual, on the history, how it has been treated, what it has been fed with, and so on and so forth. I just think it's worth knowing that there is a sensitivity with these orchids and the leaf tip dieback. And as I was saying, before you go and spray all of your collection with fungicide, keep that in mind. It might really not be an infection you're dealing with. Alrighty guys, so this has been the video for today. This is my Serenade O'Neal in bloom. I love it, and I hope you learned something new about the Encyclias. I would definitely give them a go if you live in a warm climate. Mind you, some Encyclias have been reclassified as Prostichias. So if you cannot find them under the name Encyclia, do try with Prostichia as well. Visit the RHS Orchid Registry just to see which of them have been reclassified. And yeah, it's a mess, it's very confusing, but it is what it is. So alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You know the drill. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe to my channel for regular orchid videos, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!